One game of Western Conference Finals hoops on a Wednesday night. The Western Conference Finals is over. KC has won. They beat the Timberwolves 124-94 in dominant fashion. We'll get into it all now. My name is Shlomo Stark.
My name is Levi Jacob.
And this is the daily basketball recap in 15 minutes or less. Levi, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
First time in the finals since 2012, which means there's going to be a big trade coming because last time the Thunder were this good with Harden, Westbrook, and Kevin Durant, and everyone was like, oh, here's the future. Here's what's going to happen. Finals every year. They just traded Harden. And so I'm expecting, I don't know, Chet, Jalen Williams, or SJ to leave just because that's what the Thunder do if history repeats itself. But seriously, great job. You're going to be mad at me at my first takeaway
It's
because
okay.
it's not my fault. It's just where my head's going.
All right.
When I watched this game, I was only thinking one thing because this game was over in the second quarter. And so when I was watching the game, I wasn't really thinking about the game. I was more thinking like big picture. And I just had one thought in my head. Jokic is the best player in the world. How the heck did he get this team to 7 games? This is by far, the Thunder are by far the best team in the league. Their defense is by far the best defense in the league. And yet, somehow, some way, Jokic, with his supporting cast of Russell Westbrook's corpse, whatever's left of MPJ, and like some spurts from Jamal Murray, and somehow, some way, Jokic willed them to 7. And that's my first takeaway. That I'm
Yeah,
just really, really
it's pretty
impressed.
incredible that Jokic brought them to a position to be blown out in Game 7. Props.
So impressive. So impressive. They should have been done in 4. I'm sorry to tell you. There's any other player besides Jokic, they're done in 4 or 5 maybe. Great job by the Thunder. SGA is really earning that MVP. I think there's a great tweet by Wob. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name, Wob, even though I know you don't listen to this. He will never listen to this, even though we try so hard. But he had a great tweet, which was, the only thing Caruso hasn't stolen yet is the Western Conference Finals championship, like the Finals MVP.
MVP.
Yeah, because like he really steals every single ball. This team is so good at defense. It's crazy. Timberwolves scored 9 points in the first quarter. Like honestly, they lost the game in the first quarter. It wasn't even the second quarter. Like that 26-9 run to start is just so like, what are you supposed to do?
It felt like a real dagger. Like they even asked Mike Conley right after the first quarter. They were like, Mike, like, what do we got to do? And he's like, not give up 26 points and only score 9. Like, yeah, simple math, you know. It was brutal. It was really brutal. The Thunder really, like, it felt like the reverse of Game 3 in the way that like the Timberwolves just came out. They had so much more energy. They were like really like firing on all cylinders. The Timberwolves were like moving in slow motion to start off this game, and that was like really like they had to be on the top of their game in order to take another one. It didn't happen. Just didn't have it in them.
Listen, the Thunder we're reaching like new territory with them. They have been 12-4 this playoffs. When you count that with their record, so meaning like if you do the 68-14, like their regular season plus playoffs, they're 80. They're right now 80-18. This is like, and would it shock you if they beat the Pacers in 4 or 5? It would not shock me at all. I think we did this last.
Yeah. We could run it back. No, I'm just
They
kidding.
could. It's just.
It's awesome. It's awesome
Yeah,
play.
we're nearing like all-time territory here. If you combine regular season and playoff wins, this is just one of the greatest runs ever. Just there's not really debatable. Whether you want to say like, is that things, I don't know about things worked out like seeding, but the seeding is also a big part of was that they played really well, so they got the 1 seed and home court and everything. But this has just been a very, very dominant run, and they're 4 wins away from being NBA champions.
Also, SGA reduced the amount of free throw attempts this game. He did it all with
Saw
less
that he
free
had
throws.
4.
Which is great.
But I would more put that up to the game was over in the second quarter, so why would he drive? But yeah.
I mean, he still shot 56 on 25 shots.
He's really good.
He's great.
Really good.
What do we think about the Ant performance?
Like I think that Ant, when speaking about Ant, it's all like, relative. So I've been impressed with Ant this playoffs as a 24-year-old up and coming star, like, who's, like, gonna be great. Like, I don't need more from him. If you look at Anthony Edwards as, like, he should be an MVP, it was not an MVP level performance, but I'm not expecting it to be an MVP level performance. So my Anthony Edwards thought is, like, I have no issues with Anthony Edwards. He's 24 years old and had, like, made the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. I'm good with him. He was 7 of 18 shooting, 19 points against one of the best defensive teams maybe ever. Like, I'm not saying, like, Anthony Edwards needs to step up. Anthony Edwards needs to grab the ball and shoot more and take over these games. Like, I'm not in that camp. I'm not saying now Anthony Edwards, it's like it's Jokic, it's SGA, it's Edwards, he's right there. I think he's like a tier beneath, and that's fine.
Are you more impressed by this playoff run or last playoff run? Like from last year?
From which last playoff run was, I think, more impressive. Beating Denver in 7 was, like, a really big, and also that beating Phoenix in that first round, like, he had kind of, like, coined him as the guy. So I think from an individual statistics, like, if we're talking just Anthony Edwards, it was more impressive, but it's harder to do that twice than once. So I think this year as a team was harder. They as also this year they played the first 2 rounds were much easier than last year.
That would mean to me that he should have had more opportunity to prove himself. The first 2 rounds were easier. I feel like in the first 2 rounds of this playoffs, meaning the argument is that once he got to the Thunder, it looked potentially worse in comparison. But I'm saying that I feel like the 2 series to begin with that were easier in a sense should have been the proving ground. Like that's where you
Yeah,
step
he
up, you
proved
show
it
that
to
you're
me.
better.
He went 8-2 when he was the best player on the team.
But that's the team's success. Like meaning
Yeah,
in
meaning if
regards to
you don't need to be the top scorer to prove to me. He was the leader of that team. He was the leader of that team, and I think you take him out of the series and they lose probably both of those rounds.
well, yeah,
So, like, I was impressed with the first 2 rounds, yeah. I even if you remember, I had Timberwolves in 6. Bad call by me, but,
that's good. It's
that was
better for
my
content though.
it was a zag. It was a zag. It was a lot of it was for content, but, like, it was like a fun bet because, like, I was very into Anthony Edwards and what he was doing, and I was like, "If Julius Randle keeps playing this way, why not?" The answer was the Thunder defense is why not, and Julius Randle won't play that way because of the Thunder defense, even though he was actually pretty good tonight. But I was very impressed with him. Going 8-2 in the first 2 rounds is they were the best team in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, besides maybe the Pacers.
Best team in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Besides
That's
the
fair.
Pacers, yeah.
He scored 2 points less a game, takes the same amount of shots, field goal percentage was higher last year.
Wait, you're
Threes
comparing it to last year or this season?
last year.
Okay.
He changed his style of play. So, like, I'm just interested to see.
It's very different Julius Randle versus Cat.
Oh, no,
They're
that's
very
entirely different. Yeah, yeah.
it's like a whole different Julius Randle needs the ball more. You gotta let him, like, cook in the post, whereas Towns can be, like, kind of like a hired gun, like, "I'll score when you need me to, but, like, you take over the games." For Julius Randle to be productive, he needs to take over games, otherwise he just kinda sits in the corner and looks grumpy. So Edwards averaging less points is actually, I would even give it to him as a plus that they went 8-2 with him averaging less points because he understood what his team needs.
Okay. So, basically, in games played, he played 1 less game this playoffs, okay? He played 1 less minute this playoffs. Everything's kind of like minuscule change. He had basically 1 less turnover per game. He had 1 fewer assists this game. He had almost 1 rebound more this year.
Mhm.
And his free throw was also less, like, was lower this year by about 10%. His three-point was also lower by about 5%. I just feel like statistically, like, the plus minus from last year's playoffs, he was 4.4, this year it's 2.5. I just feel like it wasn't like he was bad, but I just didn't feel like it was a development upon what there was last year.
I think here's where it is. I think what you're feeling, and especially when you look at the statistics, you see that it's around the same. I think last year, he so far exceeded expectations that it felt like, "Oh my gosh, Anthony Edwards has arrived." Whereas this year, I think even subconsciously, you were not you, want like, we were all
Yeah, yeah.
were expecting him to again exceed expectations, and he just met the same expectations as last year, which was amazing, but it didn't feel as amazing because we were already expecting it. It's like LeBron, why he stopped winning MVPs, even though he was by far the best player in the league. It's because you win MVPs when we feel like you're doing something better than everyone else. But once you are doing it better than everyone else, but it's slightly worse than you were doing it a year ago, then we're not giving you the award, even though you're the best player. And I think it's the same thing here is he's doing exactly what he did a year ago, and last year we were impressed because he wasn't doing that 2 years ago. So we need him to go up a level to like confident, but like statistically, uh nothing against Ant. I think he's great. I was thinking he's a great teammate. I think he understands like what needs to be done for his team to win. So OKC team is so much better than the Minnesota team. And kudos to OKC. Nothing against Minnesota. The question really is for Minnesota is, which I think is interesting, which I don't think we should talk about now. We should save this. But what do they do in the offseason? There's a lot of questions here because this is not a finals team. The West is going to be better next year, and the Timberwolves, like, what's going on with Gobert? Sometimes he's amazing, sometimes he's unplayable. Is Randall gonna stay there? Mike Conley, what do you like? Is he just there as a veteran present, like a Udonis Haslam type at this point? Like, he's so bad if you actually just look at the numbers. McDaniels and Alexander Walker, you know he's Shay's cousin? They might like they're I assume McDaniels for sure is gonna grow. Dante's been great. So they have a lot of pieces they could trade, a lot of things that could go on. So they're a really interesting offseason team to me because they're really good. And Ant could get better, but they're not, even though were one of the last four teams remaining, they're so clearly like a tier below the finals.
Do you think anybody would wanna take Rudy?
Yes. I don't know about the price and
That's what yeah.
like not for what they paid. Not for what Minnesota paid.
Well, to be fair, the upside of his extension, the extension on the end of this deal, next year he's getting paid 35 as opposed to 43. So it's
Still,
still a lot of money.
Minnesota overpaid drastically for him, and I don't think any team is gonna overpay that. But are there teams that could use him? Yes. Who says no to this trade? I know it doesn't work with the salary caps. All you people in the comments, whatever, I know this doesn't work. It's just for fun I'm asking this. Who says no? The Knicks call Minnesota and say, Karl Anthony Towns for Rudy Gobert and McDaniels. Like, who's worse off there? We're saying, hey, like the Knicks pitch to Minnesota is listen, Towns and Edwards had a real thing working for them. It really, really worked. Now you're gonna be so good offensively with Randall, with Towns, with Edwards. We're taking Gobert off your hands, and the price for that is we get this awesome guy McDaniels who we love. McDaniels is gonna be such a fun Nick. And the Knicks just get better defensively at rim protection. They now have a Twin Towers monsters defensively with Robinson and Gobert. And then we just remove Gobert off the floor the same way we did with Towns. But now we also have McDaniels. Who says no?
I think the Knicks.
Yeah, I think so too. But it's a fun like thought experiment. And
Well, I'll tell you with the Timberwolves, I think in part the new ownership hopefully is willing to like spend money. Like to be honest with you, I still don't understand why they like other than financial, why they traded Towns to begin with this season. Like I don't really get it.
not sure it was more than financial.
So I'm saying
I think people really fear this apron.
I think that was the old ownership though. I think if you have like A-Rod trying to make good on Anthony Edwards' name, I think it might look a little different. I don't know. It's an interesting trade thought.
Conversation for another time. Predictions. Knicks are going to win tonight because it's the most Knicks thing ever. It is. I have no doubt they're going to win. I'm not even joking. I have no doubt they're going to lose in 6, and I have no doubt they're going to win tonight. The Garden is going to be crazy. The Knicks are going to, and I think it's going to be a blowout also. It's going to be like a tease. Like, I think the Pacers think they have it in the bag. I think the Knicks are resilient and don't want to give up. And I think they're going to blow them out tonight. And then they're going to 1,000,000% lose game 6. But I have like no doubt that they're going to win tonight. I think I'm just out. Like, even if we win, I'm not happy. And if we lose, I'm not happy. So either way, I won't be happy because I woke up at 3 a.m. So
Don't you feel like it would give you a little bit of like a little bit of a boost? Like at least, like, a little bit of a sweet note to end on somewhere. No, I don't
No,
like it.
kill
Alright.
us now. We're good. Like, I don't because I'll tell you yeah, the thing is if we win tonight, I'm waking up for game 6. Like, then anyway, your prediction for tonight?
I want the Knicks to win, and I'll tell you why. I wanna go back to Indy. I want the Knicks organization to pay for a suite in Indiana and put Giannis right in that suite next to Tyrese Halliburton's dad. I think it'd be the funniest
Like,
bit ever.
that's a Steve Ballmer move. Like, the Knicks don't do that.
I think it'd be so funny, though. I would
It would
love
be,
it.
no, it'd be great. That's just not a Knicks move. Like, Steve Ballmer would do it in a second. Okay. That was the daily basketball recap in 15 minutes or less. I wanna thank you, Levi. Just thank you today. And I wanna thank you for listening. Go Thunder. Mazel tov.